Hello, guys. Well, first of all, I just wanted to tell you that I'm so happy that we are going to have this subject this semester, and then I'm going to be with you during uh, this semester. Okay. Also, I am really sorry because I can't be with you today in the class. Uh, well, on Monday, uh, actually, is the day that you're going to see this video. I am gonna have a surgery. That's why I can't go to university. So that's something that I couldn't postpone. That's why I had to do it. Okay. So, but the idea, guys, is that we move on. That we work during these 2 hours that you have the class, and that so we don't waste time. Okay. Well, the subject that first of all, that all the communication that we are gonna have during the semester is through the email. Okay, any question, whatever you need, you can just send me an email, and I'll answer as soon as I can. Okay, the subject that we are going to study this semester is models and approaches in ELT education. Okay, of course, this subject is it's gonna be in English because your emphasis is in English, and because we need to practice English. Okay, we basically work on during the 3 terms in the same way, with the same percentages. Okay. We are gonna have some oral presentations that could be either a, a sorry, a presentation of a specific topic, or also the idea of this subject is to practice our writing skills. Okay, we are gonna write an essay. This is gonna be in the classroom, of course, and each essay is going to be focused on the topic that we will be studying. Okay, so that's why it's important that you take notes, that you read when you have to read, so you can write, and you can practice the academic writing skills. I would give you, of course, some, let's say, key points uh, to write in a better way. Okay, so the idea is that you start writing academically. Okay, so that is gonna be the percentages. See, the oral presentation, the micro teaching with the 20%, and the essay with the 15%. Okay. It's well, this subject, guys, models and approaches, or the idea of this subject is to work in something that you have been working through all the semesters. Okay, and this is like a review of what you studied in didactics, basically. Okay, the idea is to identify the principles, the characteristics of the language methods and approaches, and evaluate, see, the different language learning experiences, given or taking into account the principles and the characteristics of the theoretical frameworks of language methods and approaches. Okay, so we never know uh, which method or which approach is the best, because every classroom, every educator, and every student is different. Okay, so as educators, guys, we should try to get which one is fits, actually, which fits better, taking into account our specific context, and taking the impact of what we are doing with our students. Okay, so the idea of this subject is to try to get the best principles of every model, every method and approach, and you can create your own model, okay? Your own model. So your classes are the best, okay? So you can be every day a better teacher, okay? So that is the idea, okay? At the end, so after studying during the first and the second term, see, studying some methods, some theories, some approaches, the idea is that at the end, see, you can construct your own method. See how your method would be for your future classes, for your future job. Okay? So that is the idea. Okay? Well, if you just have any questions on Monday, I hope, because I don't really know when I'm going to come back, but I guess that next Monday I will be with you. If you have any question about I am speaking, just let me know. Okay? So, uh, so we're going to start. I am going to give you just a review of what we are going to start, and then I will give you some task, see, some homework, so you can present it next class. Okay? So, well, let's continue. If it works. My Jesus, it's not working. Okay. Well, I guess it is. Well, so we're going to see some models and approaches, and we are going to start with something that is crucial to know. See, and it's to know the concept of pedagogy. Okay. I don't know if with this recording I can the audio, if you can listen the audio. Let's see, I'm gonna try. See, so let's listen what pedagogy is.
And why should teachers care? Psychologist Lee Schulman said that if philosophy begins in wonder, pedagogy typically begins in frustration. Firstly, it's a frustrating but fun word to pronounce. Pedagogy. Pedagogy? Pedagogy. But what makes it most frustrating is how teachers are rarely given the time and training to learn more about it. In this video, we're going to explore what pedagogy is through 4 of its core ideas or learning theories. But first, let's take a closer look at what pedagogy actually means. Pedagogy is the theory, method, and philosophy of teaching, but strictly speaking, it only refers to the teaching of children. In fact, the word pedagogy comes from the ancient Greek pathagogos. Pedagogos. Okay, cool. The word pedagogy comes from the ancient Greek pedagogos, which literally means leader of children. The use of the word surged during the 1900s, as more emphasis was placed on the science behind learning. But as you can see, since then, the use of pedagogy has been in decline. Whilst we don't know exactly why that is, one explanation could be the rise in teacher workload. As the Teacher Workload Survey discovers every year, workload is continuously on the rise. This could explain why teachers have less time to learn about the academic field and study in their methods. So, is pedagogy still relevant in the modern classroom? Or is it a thing of the past? To find this out, let's go back to 1898, to the beginning of what is arguably the first approach to pedagogy: behaviorism.
Well, so as you could listen, see, pedagogy, it's a it's a word which comes from Greek, okay, and which means to teach children, right? To teach children. So, but it has been evolving through the time, and we can say that pedagogy See, uh, it's what the teacher does in the classroom. Okay, it's the teaching style, the theories, the methods, how teachers teach in the classroom. Okay, how teacher delivers the curriculum to the class. That is the language. Okay, so at the beginning it was just taken into account for children, but nowadays it's for everybody. Okay, well, we're going to start with some of the theories that you have studied during all the semesters that you have done. And probably you know this, but the idea is that in this semester you have very clear the difference between the different uh, theories. Okay, we're going to start with constructivism. Yeah, constructivist. You know that Jean Piaget is widely considered the father of the constructivists. Okay, a constructivist shares many of the same principles as cognitive theory. However, there are some differences. Okay, the main difference is the role of the social context. Okay, in cognitive theory, uh, learning is just internal and it's just a mental process. Okay, but in constructivist, learning is a combination of cognitive development and human interactions. Okay, so there is in constructivist, interaction is a very important point. Okay, it focuses on the idea that children or students are active rather than passive learners. Okay, so it's not gonna be like teacher is all the time speaking and students only listening. Okay, no, over here students are really active and they are all the time interacting. Okay, uh, so in constructivist, learners, or actually sorry, teachers are facilitators. Okay, are just a kind of helpers. Okay, helpers. Uh, Why? Because students are encouraged to interact. They have to interact all the time, exchange opinions, and construct new knowledge. Okay, so it's like teacher gives some, let's say, some topics, some basis, but then uh, the students have to construct what the teacher gives. Okay, so and teacher helps them to get where they want to arrive, to get. Okay, uh, you know that most of the time in most of our English classes, memorization is one of the most important things because it's based on traditional methods, right? With constructivists, students don't have to memorize. They have to think, they have to understand, but they don't have to repeat as a parrot. Okay, they have to uh, understand what they are doing. Okay, uh, in constructivism, it's focused on construct meanings. Okay, so students have some prior knowledge, okay, which has been gained from past experience, and then based on that previous knowledge, they start building new knowledge. Okay, so what they have learned before in their previous experience is really important because focus on that, they can start building new things, new meaning. Okay, uh, learning is socially situated and is enhanced through meaningful context. What does it mean? That interaction is important, that everything that comes over, yeah, that comes around students, it's important. Context is really important. Okay, and language. Well, we're going to see the main features, okay, the main characteristics of constructivism in the classroom, okay. The first characteristic is that knowledge will be shared between teacher and students, okay. It's something, as I told you before, it's something that is built between teacher and student. It's not like teacher stands up in front of students and they just talk, and students don't do anything. They just are listeners, okay? No, in constructivism, both, okay, both work to create knowledge to build meaning, okay? That is like the main characteristic in a class in which we can see constructivism. Teachers and students will share authority, okay? Teacher is not authority, both, okay? It's, let's say, students and teachers have the same, uh, let's say, status, okay? They both are the same, okay? The teacher role is one of the facilitators or guide. This is something that I previously mentioned. It's a teacher, it's someone who helps students, okay? And teachers are the people who help students to to get the objective of the class, okay? Learning groups will consist of small numbers of heterogeneous students. Um, as learning is socially situated and enhanced through meaningful context, students need to interact. Students need to work in groups. Okay, cooperative learning actually is really important here. Group work. See, sometimes it's difficult, but we have to find a way in which students can understand each other, can work each other. That they have to start learning that working in teams, working in groups, working in pairs, it's something that is cooperative, that all the people in the group have to work, that it has to be balanced, okay? Well, this basically here you can see the difference between traditional classroom and constructive classroom, okay? So I'm not gonna read all of them, but it would be nice that you can have a picture or whatever, you can see the difference, okay? But basically it's what we have just talked about so far, okay? So in constructivist, um, learning is interactive, learning is built, it based on the previous knowledge that they have, is a student center, a teacher and students have a conversation, have interaction, have a dialogue, there is some kind of help each other, see, between teachers and students. um, Totally opposite on what we have seen traditionally. See, like teacher, it's the class is just for teachers. Students have only to repeat what the teacher says, and teacher is the authority. Teacher only give information to the students, but the students can't find solution to problems. Okay, and most of the time, students work alone. See, because they try to be very competitive. They try to be the best, and it's not like in constructive teamwork. Okay, that's basically the difference with traditional methods. Okay, another characteristic of constructivism is that there is a reciprocal relationship between teaching and learning. Okay, teachers can learn from students can learn from teachers, students can learn from their partners. Okay, so learning um, arises all the time. Okay, well, sorry. Also, another characteristic is inquiry based learning. Okay, inquiry, it's like a problem, let's say. Okay, the contraction of this is characteristic is IVL. Okay, IVL. So in what are the main features of this characteristic is that students make their own questions, but they have to find the answer. Okay, how? They have to research, they have to observe. So it's, as I told you before, teacher doesn't give the answer, doesn't give everything. Students have to find it. Okay, so teachers give the problem, teachers give the inquiry, and students have to find the solution. Okay, probably teachers have to teach students the way how to research, the way how to find the answer, but teacher doesn't give the answer. Okay, and students have to find enough evidence, enough arguments to demonstrate their answer. Okay, so they have to um, uh, find the answer, but explain how they found that answer. Okay, students try to find some kind of connections between the previous knowledge and the new knowledge. Okay, they have to connect this previous and new knowledge, finding the answer to the question that they had. And all finally, they draw conclusions. They draw conclusions, and they remain gaps in knowledge and develop plans for future investigations. See, so they have to uh, find some positive things about what they are doing so they can continue researching on what they are interested in. Okay, boy. Problem-based learning, that's another characteristic of constructivism. This is kind of similar to the one that we have just seen. Um, the difference is that PBL, which is problem-based learning, provides students real-world problems that require students to work together to devise a solution. Okay, problem-based learning, students have a problem based on real world problems, and they have to find a solution in teams, in pairs, with a partner. Okay. Oh my God. Also, cooperative learning. This is something also that you have studied before. Students usually work in groups to maximize their own and each other's learning. Uh, as teachers, we have to teach them how to work in teams, okay? Because that is something that is not easy. It's something that we don't know how to do it, but it's something that is really necessary and useful, actually, something that is really useful, okay? And in constructivist, cooperative is crucial, okay? It's really essential. Uh, the idea to work cooperatively is to find the solution a problem and to complete an assignment, okay? What are the limitations that we have with a constructivist? One of the biggest disadvantage is the lack of structure. Okay, so with constructivists, it's like we don't have like a syllabus to follow. Like, okay, first we're going to study verb to be, and then we'll continue with present continuous or present simple. Uh, no, actually, is what the students want to learn, what teachers see that students need. Okay, so as it doesn't follow a structure, it could be a little bit, let's say, disorganized. Okay, Also, it removes grading. What does it mean? That with constructivist teachers doesn't give grades, notas, okay? So it's basically formative assessment, okay? And of course, in Colombia, this kind of limitation or this kind of methodology without gradings doesn't work because we have to give numbers, okay? So that is some of the limitations of constructivism. Well, now guys, the idea is that for next class, of course, I am going to send you a link in which you can read a little bit more, or I think I'm going to send you a document in which you can read a little bit more about constructivism. You are going to work in pairs and you are going to create a class, okay? You're going to create a class in which you can apply all the principles that I have just told you about constructivism. And I mean, you're not going to teach the class, you're going to design like the lesson plan, and you're going to explain to your partners how your class would be taking into account the constructivist principles, okay? The class has to be addressed to a 7 years old children. You're gonna have 15 students for the class, and you have to include the objectives, the procedures in the class, and the materials that you could use in your class, okay? You don't have to make the micro teaching. It's just explain in the class next Monday the how you would do the class with your students, but with constructivist principles, okay? So that's it, guys. Thank you very much, and hope to see you next Monday. Any question that you have about this task, let me know, okay? Thank you. Bye bye.